Hi, this is Phil from underKG.com, and this is Xperia E1. So this is a very cheaper range version of an Android smartphone coming from Sony. This is the entry-level smartphone. It's got a receiver on the top, Sony logo, no front-facing camera due to its cost reductions, and 4 inches of a WVGA resolution display. Keys are built in as a soft key. On the right is a volume rocker with the power key. 3.5mm headphone jack is on the top, along with the Walkman key right here that we were going to talk about in a second. And on the left is a micro USB port, not covered in a flap or anything. This is not waterproof, although it's Sony. And on the bottom is nothing but a microphone right there. And on the back is a 3-megapixel of a fixed focus camera. There's no autofocus. Don't expect kind of a photo quality from this guy. And the secondary microphone, Sony logo, and the speaker, very many holes there. It goes up to 100 decibels. That's very loud. And there's Xperia logo. Battery cover removable, like that. And there's a micro SD card slot along with the SIM card slot right there that uses a bigger SIM card that we used a few years ago. And there's a 1750 milliamps of the replaceable battery, so if you need more battery power, you can do that by getting an extra battery. That's pretty much it for the Xperia E1, and the overall material is very plasticky while it's very well made in the same time. It feels very solid in your hand. It's very compact. It's a 4 inches big. It fits right on your hand, and this seems like it's almost scratch proof. It's a very sturdy feeling on the hand. It's very light at the same time. Feels neat. Although compared to the more of a premium smartphone like the Xperia Z1, there should be, and there is, the differences in how both of the two phones feel, and this is an obvious differences that they must have. And size wise, compared to the Galaxy S5, that's much smaller, and compared to Xperia Z1, that's 5 inches. This guy is this small. There we go. So it's a very compact smartphone while very affordable in the same time. It ranges about $120 to $150 in the market right now, unlocked without contracts. So we're gonna power this on, and it's got a usual Sony interface. So you can drag from here to get into camera, or you can drag from the left to add widgets to its panels, and you can slide up or down to unlock the screen. And that was a lock screen that Sony had till the Android 4.3, meaning that this guy runs on Android 4.3. The notification bar and the shortcuts bring you to the settings, and we can see that it runs Android 4.3. And along with the Sony update plans, they're planning to get it to the 4.4 KitKat very soon in July, so you should be expecting an update very soon. Aside from the version, this is a very low-end smartphone at the same time, so it's got a Snapdragon 200 with the dual-core processor, and a half a gigabyte of RAM. That's 512 megabytes if we put into the megabytes, and that does not bring many of the problems for most of the users, but while most of the phones, even the lowest low-end smartphones in the market already has a gigabyte of RAM, this could be a problem. But since Android KitKat update is going to come very soon and it's optimized for the lower spec devices, it shouldn't be that much of a bigger problem. Even running at the 4.3 right now, it didn't cause much of the problems. I haven't seen any apps crashing due to that, so you probably don't have to worry about that. The benchmark scores range about 13,000. That's about the average for the Snapdragon 200 devices, so that's nothing special up there. And software-wise, there's nothing very special going on, although they did manage to shrink the soft key a little bit so you can utilize more of that small 4 inches of a display. That's a good thing that Sony has done. The special things of the Xperia E1, first is the Walkman key. So you can press the Walkman key on the top to start playing music, and it drives you right into the Sony's Walkman app. And which kind of did surprise me was the speaker is pretty loud. It's very loud at 100 decibels tops, and although it's very loud, the sound quality coming from it wasn't exactly impressive. The sound from the Moto E and the Moto G was very impressive, and they were affordable in the same time as well. So that was kind of a disappointment, and sound coming from that headphone jack to your earphones isn't that good either. And since they were talking a lot about its sounds and how it's a Walkman-ish, we kind of expected more of a sound effects supported on this, because the Xperia Z1 and the follow-up flagship models have the sound effects all over the system, so you can hear the sound effects work on the YouTube or any kind of third-party apps that you work. But for Xperia E1, they took it out, and it only works on within the Xperia Walkman app. There are sound enhancements you can set up over there. Although although it's limited here, they do work. But what kind of did surprise me for another thing is that you can't replace the Walkman key to another application. I get it. It's named Walkman key and it's got a Walkman logo on there. But it would have been a lot more useful if it could have replaced that to at least another music app like Power Amp or TuneWiki or another kind of app, but unfortunately it doesn't allow us to do that. There's just like a simple manual, and there's a shake control, so you can push it and shake to shuffle your music, which I don't know, could be useful. So that's the main limitations, and another one includes the camera. That's the 3 megapixel camera. I'm fine with the pixels, but it doesn't have the autofocus, and that's kind of a bummer. We all know how much difference the autofocus makes to the photo, the quality of the photo. The battery is pretty good, 1750 milliamps of the battery, and along with Sony's power management technology, including the stamina mode, it's pretty good for its storage. For its capacity and the specification, it runs very fine. We were managed to retain the battery till the end of the day. It was fine for the full day usage. The display is kind of a disappointment. Its resolution is fine enough for its price, but photo quality was a bit disappointing. So all of the things combined, this is an okay phone. For its price, it's reasonably spec'd and it works fine. It feels really good on your hand. But in the same time, with the same pricing options, there are LG smartphones, there's Moto E, and there are other cheaper Chinese smartphones in the same time. Even aside from the Chinese smartphones, Moto E, which seems like the biggest competitor right here with the Android built in, seems like a better phone for now. Xperia E1 has its taste and it's got its proprietary functions and whatnot. It still doesn't seem good enough to compete against the Moto E. So that was Xperia E1. Somewhat good, somewhat bad in the same time, like every other phones there are. It's an okay phone for its price, but you've got to decide if you still want to get an Xperia instead of the better performing devices out there in the market. So that's Xperia E1. Thank you always for watching, and there you know how to subscribe to our channel. We believe you do. Please do so. That's underKG channel, underKG View, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all there for you to follow and subscribe. Thank you always for watching. We'll see you guys later. Bye.